I have a PhD in clinical psychology with a minor in health psychology, and I've spent over 30 years working in healthcare as a registered nurse. This channel is education, not therapy. But I want to give you access to real psychology that most people never hear explained clearly. Today, we're talking about something that trips up almost everyone, including therapists who don't specialize in attachment work. Think about two people. Both have avoidant attachment. Both pull away when things get close. Both leave their partners feeling confused, hurt, and wondering what they did wrong. But here's what almost no one tells you. They are pulling away for completely different reasons. And if you don't know which one you're dealing with, everything you try to do to get close will backfire. One type pulls away because closeness feels suffocating. The other pulls away because closeness feels terrifying, and they desperately want it at the same time. Same behavior, completely different psychology underneath. That difference changes everything about how you respond, what you say, and whether the relationship can actually heal. Let's break it down. Section 1. Dismissive Avoidant. The dismissive avoidant is the one most people picture when they hear the word avoidant. They come across as independent, self-sufficient, often high-functioning. They genuinely believe they don't need much emotional closeness, and that belief isn't performance. It's how they actually experience the world. Here's why. Dismissive avoidant attachment usually forms in childhood when emotional needs were consistently met with indifference or dismissal. Not cruelty, just absence. A parent who was physically present but emotionally unavailable. A home where feelings were treated as weakness or inconvenience. The child's brain does exactly what it's designed to do. It adapts. It learns. If I stop needing things emotionally, I stop getting hurt. So it deactivates the attachment system, dials it down. And over time, that deactivation becomes the person's baseline. Think about someone like Priya. She's 34, successful, emotionally composed. She dates, but never quite lets anyone in fully. When her partner starts wanting more commitment, more vulnerability, more time, she doesn't panic. She just loses interest. The relationship starts feeling like pressure, like maintenance, and she quietly pulls back. She's not playing games. She genuinely doesn't feel the pull toward closeness the way her partners do. Her nervous system has learned to treat intimacy as a drain on energy, not a source of it. Key signs you're dealing with a dismissive avoidant. They value independence above almost everything else. They tend to minimize emotional needs, their own and yours. They pull away gradually, not dramatically. They rarely initiate deep emotional conversations. They often describe past relationships as too intense or too needy. When they end things, they seem fine almost immediately. Before we get to fearful avoidant, I want to pause and ask you something. Does Priya's pattern sound familiar to someone in your life? Drop a yes or no in the comments. I read every single one. Section 2. Fearful Avoidant. Now here is where it gets more complex and more painful for everyone involved. The fearful avoidant, sometimes called disorganized attachment, is not simply someone who prefers distance. This is someone who wants closeness deeply and is terrified of it at the same time. They didn't just learn that emotions were inconvenient. They learned that the very people who were supposed to be their safe haven were also a source of fear or pain. Sometimes this is trauma. Sometimes it's a parent whose love was unpredictable, warm one moment, frightening or withdrawing the next. The child needed the parent, and the parent was also the source of danger. That creates what researchers call an unresolvable dilemma. The brain's attachment system and its threat detection system get activated at the same time, by the same person, and that wiring carries directly into adult relationships. Now imagine Priya again, but a different version. This Priya also pulls away when things get close. But watch what happens underneath. She pulls away, and then she misses her partner desperately. She sends a message, then immediately regrets it and goes quiet. She breaks up with someone, then comes back 3 weeks later. She wants more connection, then panics the moment she gets it. She reads into silences, overanalyzes tone, and oscillates between "I need to leave" and "I can't lose this person," sometimes in the same afternoon. This is not inconsistency. This is not manipulation. This is a nervous system that learned love and danger arrive together and hasn't yet found evidence that any relationship is safe enough to trust completely. Key signs you're dealing with a fearful avoidant. Push-pull cycles that feel confusing and unpredictable. They come back after pulling away, unlike dismissive avoidants who tend to stay gone. They are often more self-aware about their patterns, but feel unable to stop them. They crave deep connection, but sabotage it when it gets real. They can be very emotionally expressive, then suddenly shut down completely. They often carry visible anxiety about the relationship alongside the avoidance. Section 3. The critical difference. So here is the distinction that matters most practically. A dismissive avoidant is pulling away from you because closeness feels like too much. A fearful avoidant is pulling away from you because closeness feels like everything they want and everything they're afraid to lose. That difference changes what actually helps. With a dismissive avoidant, pressure makes it worse. Every reach forward triggers more withdrawal. What works is steady, low-demand presence, patience without expectation, giving them space that is genuinely free, not space with an emotional invoice attached. With a fearful avoidant, what they need most is consistency. Not grand gestures, not passionate declarations. Consistency. Small, repeated proof that you will not suddenly disappear or become someone different. That safety is not something you take away when you're frustrated. Their nervous system needs evidence gathered over time, not reassurance gathered in a single conversation. And here is the hard truth. Neither type makes easy. Neither of these patterns changes quickly. Both require the person themselves to do real inner work, often with professional support. You cannot love someone out of disorganized attachment. You cannot be patient enough to fix dismissive deactivation. What you can do is understand which pattern you're actually dealing with. Because responding to a fearful avoidant the way you'd respond to a dismissive one, or vice versa, doesn't just fail to help. It often makes things significantly worse. Closing. Here is what I want you to sit with. If you've been in a relationship that felt like a push-pull cycle, closeness followed by distance, followed by intense reconnection, followed by distance again, that pattern has a name. It has a psychological structure. And it is not a reflection of your worth or your lovability. Understanding whether you're dealing with dismissive or fearful avoidant doesn't mean you have a strategy to fix the other person. It means you stop taking the confusion personally. You start seeing the behavior as information about their nervous system, not a verdict about you. And if you recognize yourself in either of these patterns, if you're the one who pulls away, the one who oscillates, the one who wants closeness and fights it at the same time, I want you to know something. The fact that you stayed through this entire video, that you're trying to understand this about yourself, matters. That's not nothing. That is the beginning of the work that actually changes things. You are allowed to want connection. You are allowed to be complex. And you are allowed to heal at a pace that is real, not performed. In my next video, I'm going to talk about something that comes up constantly in both of these patterns. Why you keep feeling pulled back towards someone even after you've decided to leave. I'll see you there.